Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, wherever you are on, how should we call this planet?
It's an amazing day here today. So it's a beautiful planet today. I mean, if it were raining, it would be a damp day. It would be a beautiful damp day.
And if it was snowing?
Well, it can't be right now because we're at a different time of the year.
That's true. Well, welcome wherever you are.
But some people like snow.
Yeah.
They ski.
That's right.
Not me.
Well, I have a question.
I went skiing once.
Yes, I know. I took you. I ruined you for skiing forever. Okay. Not really. You just wasn't your thing, clearly.
No, clearly.
All right. Here's the question.
What's the question?
Feeling sad,
Not really.
tense, happy, insecure, all of the above? Perfect. That's today.
That's an interesting topic.
So however we all are right now, tired,
That's
rested,
perfect.
it's perfect.
It's exactly the way it ought to be.
And you
right
know
now.
why?
Because it is.
That's right. It's very
That's
simple.
right.
Second principle. You can only be exactly as you are right now as you're listening to this podcast.
Well, let's talk about listening.
Let's.
Because listening isn't thinking about. Listening isn't trying to get somewhere. Listening is just hearing what's being said exactly as it's said and letting it come into you rather than passing it through what you already believe to be true. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Good.
Letting it come into you rather than passing it through or passing it by what you already know to be true, what you've heard before, what you think.
What you believe.
It's about listening.
So let's listen to Yuta.
Yes, our first guest. Let's take her. Let's see how Yuta is in this moment. Welcome, Yuta. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi, this is Jutta, and I'm zooming in from Hademstorf in Germany.
You know, it's a shame that people can't see you, that we're not releasing this as a video, because you have a really cute haircut right now. Just saying.
Thank you. I'm very happy with it.
That's good.
That
That's
makes
good.
it very fun.
That makes it cuter. If you're happy with a haircut, then it looks good. If you're unhappy with it, then people pick up your unhappiness with it.
I've actually seen that in seminars where I've looked at somebody and go, oof, that haircut. I had the thought go by, that's fighting with her face. And then a little bit goes, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour. That person transforms. They feel well in themselves. And I look back and go, wow, cute haircut. They haven't left the room. They haven't brushed their hair. It's just they're no longer fighting with themselves and their features.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, I thought about it when I heard about the title of this show today. Like, oh yeah, sometimes I have the feeling I have all those feelings at once, and it can change in an instant. And sometimes I'm feeling sad, or I think I'm feeling sad. And then I realize I'm not so sad, but I think I have to because something happened.
Well, you know, that's very interesting that you say that, because sometimes you think you should be sad because an event has happened. And if you're a good person, you would be sad.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. And sometimes I have ideas about how my life should turn out, and it doesn't. It turns out, but it turns out differently. And I have the idea I have to feel bad about it, that it didn't turn out as I planned. Sometimes.
Well, you know, I love that, because your life turns out as it does, and your plans become irrelevant. You know, like there's a lot of people on the west coast of Florida today who had planned to retire there and spend the rest of their lives in their little palace. Only problem is Hurricane Ian came through and destroyed most of the west coast of Florida.
Many, many homes got demolished.
Oh.
So, you know, their dreams, what they wanted, what they thought was going to be perfect, have now been interrupted by the universe. Like it, don't like it. That's the truth of it.
And Shya is not being cavalier about that. It, I'm certain, was a devastating loss for many, many people.
Absolutely. They lost everything. You know, they had retired down there. So their whole lives were about now spending their days in the sun and enjoying the weather. And suddenly their home is gone.
And I'm certain that there are moments of exquisiteness and moments of desperateness, and it can go by really, really fast if you don't hold on to the parts of it you don't like. You know, it reminds me of when we used to go to Hawaii and lead seminars there. There was a saying, and I've heard it other places as well, but I first heard it there in Hawaii, where they said, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. Because often there were weather systems moving through really fast. And if we could just do that with ourselves and our emotions, you know, like, yeah, wait 5 minutes, you know, like relax into being you. And before you know it, those things that you've been fighting with yourself about just slip away.
Well, the other thing is this, you come up with the ideas about what was going to make you happy or satisfied from thoughts you've had from your past. And so your future is limited by what you think you know or what you think you want. And sometimes life plays little tricks on you where suddenly your whole universe has shifted and you don't get what you want. A storm comes through.
Well, I recall that for you personally, one of your passions is horseback riding. And there was a while back where you got injured and you were not allowed, or your body would not sustain horseback riding for a much longer period than you would have preferred while that was healing. And I'll bet you there were moments in that healing process where you really, really enjoyed being where you were, even though you'd told yourself, what I want to be doing is writing a verse.
That is very true. And I enjoyed watching other writers, not each and every minute. There were minutes where I felt very, very sorry about myself or for myself. And then I really enjoyed it, seeing stuff and also to take care of myself, to see what's appropriate right now, to give myself the freedom to just sit or lie down somewhere and enjoy a book or streaming series episodes of stuff. And that was there were many moments I really, really enjoyed. And also I remember sad episodes I had with friends where I was very sad for friends and feeling with them because they experienced loss. But I loved the experience. It sounds strange when I say that. It sounds strange to me, like, am I allowed to say that? But it's such a sweet moment when you are with somebody, even feeling loss, or especially feeling loss, because it's so intimate. And I was very happy recently when I had such a moment with a friend who lost her horse, and she was devastated. She was very much worried and very sad, and I was happy that I could let myself feel that.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's great that you could let yourself empathize and feel another's sadness or pain.
Well, and have that heart connection where she could share it with you and it had sweetness in it and love in it and sadness in it and loss in it and comfort in being with you. I caught something that I think is super neat. You know, we talked about feeling sad, tense, happy, insecure, and you added one that I love and I want to talk about. You said there were times when I was feeling sorry for myself, because I think that is so common for people. And feeling sorry for oneself is not really a feeling. It's a series of thoughts that if you follow it, it generates body sensation and emotions, where what you were talking about in this loss your friend's loss, that's a pretty true experience of actual emotions and feelings.
Yes.
Mhm.
But the feeling sorry for oneself phenomena, or feeling sorry for another, generally is a following of a series of thoughts. But we talk about it. I think the first time we talked about it, it was in one of our books. I'm not sure. We talked about it in a couple books. Our friend Isabel, that chapter was called "Poor Little Deer," because we were driving down the road and she saw a deer that had been hit by a car, and she's like, "Oh, poor little deer," and she got all teary, and I had to pull over because I was laughing so hard, and she thought I was being heartless. But really,
The deer turned out to be a rock.
there was a rock on the side of the road that she mistook for a deer that had been hit by a car, and she created all of this sadness and
Drama.
and it had nothing to do with the reality.
I can so much relate to that. I used to be very good at, when I slipped in the shower to make a whole drama and thinking about what could have happened. I saw me lying there, almost dying, not catching the phone to get some help. And I could get very emotional over that, over nothing.
So the slip didn't involve you laying there dying, not reaching the phone, but your mind took it to that extreme.
Exactly. Nothing happened. Nothing. I just slipped, and then I thought, oh, I'm so bad. I slipped.
Yes, and it could have been worse, and I would have been alone. And
I die alone with my cats, and they will eat me.
Right.
If the water is running, it would be a moist meal. So,
yeah, that's true.
Lovely being with you today. Did you have any question or anything else you wanted to speak about? No pressure. Just want to make sure we took care of you.
Yeah, not really. I didn't have a question, but I love talking about it. It was really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, sweet being with
Yeah,
you
and
today.
it's nice seeing you looking so good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Alrighty then. Drum roll, please. You sound like our cat. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight. While Shya is here purring with me, we get to hear from one of our listeners
about how transformation has impacted their lives. And if you'd like to learn more or register for any of our upcoming courses, visit transformationmadeeasy.com.
Yeah.
And when I say easy, it's like the fire swamp.
Yeah, join us.
If you know your way through it, it's easy. If you have a good guide, it's easy. If you don't, well, there's rodents of unusual size. There's lightning sand.
All those
thing?
I don't remember.
Oh, and the fire spurts.
There
right.
you go.
There you go.
We're great
Transformation made easy.com.
Hey, this is Bjarne from Hamburg, and I really like to spend time with the Canes and be at this podcast. It helps me to see different views on my own thoughts and see where the thoughts are coming from. And this is really fun for me. Thank you very much.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have 3 upcoming Living Made Easy seminars. The first is on Saturday, then on Monday, and next Tuesday evening, European time, is the once a month Living Made Easy Tuesday. You can check the schedule on our website and register if you'd like to join us. We have a couple of upcoming weekend seminars in a little over a week.
We have Relax into Life, December 3rd and 4th.
It's a virtual weekend and it will be relaxing.
Be good.
I figure it's a great time of year for that. I don't know about you, but I figure
just before Christmas, everybody's so rushed to get what they think they need to get done.
And it's nice. It'll be nice. And then in January, we're starting the new year with no longer needing to make resolutions. We're doing transformational time and project management, and you're invited.
And that's on January 7th and 8th.
Also, Costa Rica is happening. We're going to Costa Rica in January for 2 weeks of courses. You can come to one or both. It's exquisite. We had forgotten how rejuvenating Costa Rica is.
How beautiful it was. I've been here so many times before. That's what I say to myself. But when we got there looking for a new venue for these upcoming courses, I was blown away by how amazingly beautiful Costa Rica is, especially the place we found. The route to the facility that we ultimately chose as the perfect one went past or through some of the roads we'd been on many years before. But wow, the green, the curves, the water coming down the hillside, the whole thing was so brand new. You're invited. If you'd like to know more about Costa Rica 2023 or any of the seminars, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com. If you have any questions, you can let us know, or you can just register. All right, should we take our next guest? Yes, please.
All right, Vivian, welcome to being here. And please tell people where you are zooming in from.
Hi, guys. I'm calling in from Munich, Germany.
Excellent.
All right.
Welcome to being here.
Thank you. So I've been listening into this wonderful topic, which I was very much drawn in by, and I love what I heard about feeling sorry about yourself and how you actually, it's not an emotion. I really love that it's not an emotion, but that if you follow certain thoughts about something that pulls you into maybe being sad. And I really love that. And I remember a time where I was able to not do that. And that was when I had an accident. I was lying in bed, couldn't do anything at all. I was stuck in bed, and I don't know how it happened, but I just let go of everything, and it was the best time of my life. I couldn't walk. I had to hop on one leg to the bathroom, and I loved it. It was great.
It's funny when you said that. I flashed on when I was 20 years old, maybe 19, and I went into the Navy. And what I loved about it was everything was ordered for me. In other words, they told me where to go, when to go. I never had to make decisions. I knew where the mess hall was. I knew where the gymnasium was. I knew where my classes were, and I knew the schedule. And so it was easy because I didn't have to think about how to manage my life. It was managed for me. And I haven't thought about that in a very long time. But when you were sick and couldn't do anything and just had to rest in bed, that was like, oh yeah, I remember feeling so good just being.
Yes.
When I had COVID back in July, whilst it was really uncomfortable as far as the fever and the coughs and all of that type of thing, there were times where I just slept. I slept so deeply, even our cat who wakes us up every night in the middle of the night, I didn't register for her for 3 or 4 days in the evening. But it wasn't just being tired. There was something about that illness that allowed me to let go of all of the things I feel I need to be responsible for that I'm sometimes still tethered to at night. And so it's allowed me to recognize, as I've gotten my health back, that I can untether. It's a possibility. I don't have to be sick first. I can allow myself that state of grace
Volitionally.
on purpose.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
And similarly for you, that you can have the best time of your life right now, recognizing you don't have to have the circumstances constrain you. You can just let go of that which you are not doing right now.
Right. Yeah, I like to remember that time actually as a reminder, so to speak. Lately I've had, maybe some real reasons for sadness. My father passed, my good friend's mother passed, and I've been thinking about my mother and how, that she's actually very sick right now. So I'm actually, feeling sad these days, thinking about death, thinking about my own, how do you say your
Mortality.
Mortality. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And but it's yeah.
Well,
What it is,
Vivian,
right?
you might think about these things when you're disengaged from your current moment. What I mean by that is when you know how we used to have screensavers on computers?
Yeah.
When the computer was idle for 30 minutes or 15 minutes,
or 10 seconds, or however long you said it for.
However long you set it for, the screensaver would come on. Well, maybe these thoughts about your mortality or being sad come up, and you engage in them when you're disengaged from what you're up to, when you're in neutral rather than engaged with totality in whatever your day pulls on you to do.
I was watching your face. I know that we're releasing this as audio, but as you were talking about your father dying recently, your friend's mother dying recently, and your mom's illness, there were moments in touching into that where real sadness passed through. And then there's the thoughts about your preference, of course, is that your mom doesn't continue her decline. So the thoughts that you have about the situation are similar to the feeling sorry for yourself thoughts. They lead you into, in a certain respect, mock sadness, where real sadness is that experience that is deep and rich and true and passes like a rain shower.
Yes, true.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
Easy to get stuck in the mind-generated upset because it fills the space and you have something to work on. Whereas the creation of your life as it shows up moment to moment is uncertain. And so sometimes being upset is more fulfilling than the uncertainty of not knowing.
I can see that, and I've been thinking about that actually, and I can see that when I'm, for example, if I'm at work, I'm engaged, I have a great job, I have challenges and nice colleagues, and recently I come out of work and my mood drops. Well, it's not my mood. It's some feeling around me.
Well,
when I'm alone. So
yeah,
I feel like I'm lonely.
But are you alone? You see, when you're at work, you're engaged in that, whatever the tasks are that you do at work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you leave there, you become subject to the environment in which you are, where other people's thoughts are palpable. You can feel them. You can actually think other people's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's an upset in the space, and look, you've been, all the stuff that's going on in Ukraine, the cost of fuel, the potential of a nuclear something or other, all of that stuff is in the, what do you call that? The gestalt, the, what is another word? Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Of the environment that you walk into, and you pick that up.
But I also think at night I like to read, and we like to listen to audiobooks. So when you pause the audiobook, this is a better example, audiobook. You pause the audiobook and you come back to it 8 hours later after work, or 10 hours, and you hit the play button, you're going to be exactly where you left yourself in the story. And you have clued right now an ongoing story that when my mom dies, I'll be alone. So I'm not surprised that things drop. You have a whole environment of uncertainty, all those aspects.
And work is like a therapy where you're there and you're engaged in things and things pull you, and it's exciting.
I like that. Wow.
And then you drop back into the story.
And we talk about the doors to enlightenment being guarded by two lines. One's confusion and one is paradox in Oriental mythology. And if we look at paradox, which means two seemingly oppositional things are both true at the same time, like water everywhere, not a drop to drink, is true if you're floating around in the middle of the ocean. When you talk about your concerns and your sadness over your mom's health decline and having lost your dad recently, etc., on the one hand, it's like, of course you're sad. But on the other hand, if you're not a bad person, if that isn't always and ever an ongoing thing, and both can be true. So there also may be additional thing where you come out of work and go, oh my God, I didn't think about my mother all day today.
You must be a bad person.
Right.
Yeah. Look, this is a big world with a lot of different events going on simultaneously. And if you don't think about people that are in jeopardy or are having a difficult time, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. You can only be involved in what's going on in your immediate environment if you're engaged in your life.
I actually see us all as the potential of being a light in the world, where as we keep listening to the podcast, coming to seminars, living our lives, and finding our sense of center and well-being and wellness in ourselves, including the circumstances, even if somebody down wherever is having a really challenging time, we represent a possibility, a light in the world for a person to find their way back to themselves, should they wish.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like what's happening for you. It's really obvious that you're well in yourself, including your feelings of sadness or upset.
Well, you know what she said about when she was ill or had,
yes,
it sounds like hurt her leg and she was confined to bed and could only hop off to go to the bathroom and come back. I'm sure it was on one hand challenging, but as I see you and you talk about the loss of your dad and you're touching the heart of your friend who lost her mom and then your mom's decline, you just seem so much softer and more you than I've ever seen you.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree too. I can feel it.
well,
Yes.
You know, I don't want to turn this into an enrollment thing, but I really, really would love to see you in Costa Rica. I don't know if you can make it, but if you can, I think it would be so, so wonderful, especially since the place we found are hot, thermal
mineral springs.
springs.
And they have mineral steam house and then
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about it for sure.
Well, maybe that's why I'm suggesting it. But you know, so much good is happening for you right now. I just see it as like an afterburner that would take you out of the gravitational pull of life. You know, something to really let yourself relax into you and discover your magnificence, which I am experiencing being with you, by the way.
So what it is a heartfelt invitation.
That's right. It's an invitation
us to you, and without the pressure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you.
Lovely.
You know, and that we can feel your heart. I'm sure the listeners can as well. And if they're really here, they're feeling their own hearts as well. She's holding, it's a video, so you won't be able to see it. She's making a heart with her fingers. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, you know, I love what you said to Vivian about Costa Rica.
Well,
and it occurs to me that we didn't mention to people, if you suddenly go, yeah, I want that. If you have not yet done a weekend seminar with us in this year, in 2022, you need to attend a weekend seminar. Just make sure that we're all working and playing well together. And you have two options. That's the Relax Into Life seminar, December 3rd and 4th, in a little over a week, and Transformational Time and Project Management. And again, we're available should you have any questions. If you're hearing this somewhere down the line in the archives, you can just go to our website, transformationmadeeasy.com, and see what we're offering now. And thank you for being with us today. Next week's episode is Time is on your side. We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.